Hello everyone and welcome back to this episode of the GeekWave. This is the low budget shows, the show so low it has no budget. I of course am your host, Heron Barker, and we are going through a huge topic this week. Slight change of plans, I had a different topic lined up, and instead I decided we're going to go with this one. We are going to be talking about my predictions for the DC Fandome event. I think it's going to be a really fun show. I'm excited to see what DC is going to show us. And I had a couple of ideas just on things we kind of knew might be at the show that I want to see. I broke it down into 4 categories. I have comic books, television, movies, and other. And we'll talk about that in a bit here. But of course, at the beginning of every week and every show, I like to break down the news that came out this week or just whenever I record these. So we have a couple of pieces here. Actually, more so than I think we have in any other week. And we'll just jump right into it. So I hope you guys are prepared for this week's episode of the GeekWave. And our first piece of news is we kind of got the confirmation. I did a whole video on it before. You guys can check that out. I'll link it or I'll put it in the recommended stuff here. I did a video talking about Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg doing a Ninja Turtle movie with the Gravity Falls guy who is now going to be the director, the writer of Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Sounds like a lot of fun. I think this could be a really interesting project, and I'm excited to see what comes of it. Like I said, I did a whole video breaking down the kind of animation style I want to see, the moments I'd like to see, what references and what callbacks I'd love to see done from certain comic books or television shows of the Turtles. So I think that could be really cool. You guys could check that out in the description, and I'll link it there. But it sounds like a really cool idea. And our next piece of news, we have word going around that creators of Westworld, I think it's Jonathan Nolan and Lily Joy, or Lisa Joy, are working on a Fallout series for Amazon. This is pretty cool. I mean, I know little to nothing about Fallout, the game. I think I played it once for 40 minutes at a friend's house, and he got mad because I changed the way his character looked. I am not really a video game guy. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a really cool video game, and I'm sure a lot of people enjoy it. But what I like a lot about this is that kind of atomic age, Cold War, vintage sci-fi stuff. I love that a lot. That's one of my favorite eras of science fiction. I'm writing a whole screenplay based on that kind of era of science fiction, so I love it a lot. It's an era that I absolutely adore and something I'm a big fan of. And that's kind of what I'm more excited for in terms of this project. Just seeing that kind of style and what that could be. I mean, I've never played the game. Maybe I should play the game. It's probably something I like, but just that retro style of science fiction in this post-apocalyptic world, I think that's going to be really cool to see, and I'm very excited for what that could be. And our next piece of news, Marvel Comics gets the rights for Aliens and Predator in the comic books? That's really weird. I think it's kind of cool, though. I don't expect this to be like Star Wars, where it's going to be in its own separate universe, and it's not going to connect to the Marvel stuff. I think this is going to be straight up like what they did with Conan. There's going to be crossover for certain people. Certain characters are going to fight the Marvel heroes or fight the Predators or fight the aliens. I don't really know what we could expect. I would definitely love to see Wolverine fighting a Predator. I'd love to see Punisher fighting down an array of aliens or something. That could be really cool to see. Obviously, I think Kraven the Hunter is a given if you're doing the Predator and Kraven as the best hunters of all time thing. That's a given. That writes itself. I think there's a really good story in there. I like this idea. It makes me think that Disney wanted to keep the properties because they have the movies, and they might reboot the movies at some point. I really think that. That's kind of where I'm leaning. But Dark Horse has been distributing them for years, and they pretty much gave us AVP in the comics, so I'm wondering what happened there, why they didn't keep the property. It could be really interesting to find out, but I'm actually excited for this, more than I thought I would be. You see a great artist depiction of the Predator holding an Iron Man helmet. It could be the skull. I don't know. That's really cool. It's something very interesting, and I'm kind of curious to see what comes about from it, so we'll have to wait and see what that is and how that just works out, because I think it's pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited. And we got a trailer to talk about here. So, An American Pickle, a movie that I knew nothing about. I'll quickly break down the premise for you guys. In the olden times, I think the 1800s, this man falls into a vat of pickles, and he is pretty much just like frozen there over time. And then when he emerges in 2020, he realizes he has a great descendant who kind of isn't living up to the expectations of the world, I guess. He's not... It's a Seth Rogen movie. Seth Rogen plays both parts. Surprisingly, he's doing very good at the thick accent of that time. I'm liking that a lot. And you just see like the modernization of his character and the olden time station of his character. It looks really good. It's surprisingly heartwarming. It's surprisingly charming. There's a really great energy to it. I think it's going to be a really fun piece. Seth Rogen's acting his ass off, which I really like to see. And it's one of those roles that not a lot of actors could do. It's one that Seth Rogen definitely is exemplifying in, and he's doing something really cool. I'm excited to see what comes of that. So I'm really happy with the way he's been doing things. He looks great in this. And I think it's going to be a really nice watch to come on to HBO Max because theaters aren't going to open up for a long time. This is a movie I would pay to see. So I'm very excited to see what this is. American Pickle. It looks very silly, but it also looks very charming in that way too. So everyone should probably check it out. I think it's going to be one of the best movies to come to streaming in this kind of pseudo-COVID era we're living in, so that could be really fun. I think it looks really interesting to me, and I love seeing Seth Rogen in another role. That's really cool. Here's something that's kind of a rumor that we haven't really got confirmation on. A Zatanna movie is in the works. I did a video talking about this one where I pitched who I think should play Zatanna. If you guys didn't watch the video, I'll tell you right here. My top pick is Olivia Wilde, and that's followed by Tatiana Maslany. I love the character. I am super hopeful that this actually gets made. I am kind of reluctant because we have to see what's going on here. But that's also why we're talking about the DC Fandome event today, because this news kind of just prompted me to think maybe we should talk about this more. This is going to set up a dark universe in the DC universe of movies, DCEU. I think this is a great place to start if you want to go to that side of DC Comics. I'm very excited to see what that's going to be. I love this a lot. I think it's a great idea. I'm very excited to see what comes of it. Zatanna's the best. This works really well for me. I'm very excited. And here's a piece of news. When I heard it, I'm like, yay! And then I was like, oh, so we're getting Tron 3. I love Tron. That movie's fantastic. I'm even someone who likes Tron Legacy a lot. But I guess the supposed rumor is Jared Leto's going to lead this. Does he have to? Can we just stop making Jared Leto happen? The guy already got his Oscar. I don't really want to see anything else he has to work on or it's going to be a part of. I don't need that. Can't this be Olivia Wilde and Garrett Hedlund? I'd rather that happen. That sounds better. I think Daft Punk's coming back to score. I don't know. I wish I was more excited, but just the idea that it's going to be Jared Leto, I'm like, you didn't make Blade Runner better. Jury's still out on Morbius, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. I wish this was more exciting to me, but it kind of sucks. And we're going to end our news topic with something that I am so I don't know. This is really annoying, actually. Brie Larson decided she's going to join YouTube, and I really just don't know how to feel about it. It's really frustrating, if you want my honest opinion. I try so hard to like Brie Larson, but she just makes it difficult sometimes. And I'll admit, I haven't watched the whole video. She's uploaded one video to her channel. I haven't watched it in whole because I couldn't do it. She starts the video with like that classic like blooper outtake sounding bleep, and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't need to see you screw up and then start over. That's not coming around as genuine or honest. It's coming around as very cliche and cringy, and I don't like it. And you could just feel the whole video, it's like her talking to other successful people on YouTube about how to be successful. I don't need to see that. I don't want to see that. Already you can see how fake she's being and how uninteresting she's being, and I don't really like that. And you could tell, look at the dislike ratio compared to the like rate. It's like, it's high. The dislike ratio is so high. And I don't know, something about this just doesn't seem right. And I cannot be excited for it because of that. I really want to like Brie Larson. I feel like I want to. She's not making it easy. And should I watch the whole video? Should I do a reaction to the whole video? If you guys want me to do that, let me know, because I would be willing to do that. But it's weird, and I don't like it. I don't like it. My cat was chewing on the cord for the lights. That's why I hit the table. All right, let's jump into our main topic, and let's discuss the DC Fandome event. I'm excited to see what comes of this thing. Like I said at the top of the show, I broke this down into 4 categories. I did comic books, television, movies, and other. And we're going to start with other because I didn't really have a lot to talk about in this category. There's just a couple things we'll bring up before we jump into other stuff. First off, I do believe we will be getting an announcement for the next Arkham game from Rocksteady. I do believe that 100%. It's been talked about for years. It's been pretty much in everyone's radar for a long time. They'd be silly if they didn't announce it. Because, I've been talking about this a lot when it comes to the Fandom event. They have to go all out or it's going to be a waste of time. You know, you can't just announce one big thing that not a lot of people saw coming. You have to show everything you've had in the works to make it something that's viable and interesting, to get people invested in it. So announcing the new Batman game, I think it's definitely going to happen. If I had to place money on what the game would be, I would assume it's going to be a little bit more of a Bat family kind of game. I expect you'll be able to play as a certain, maybe Nightwing, maybe Robin, maybe Red Hood. That's what I'm expecting. I don't know for sure, but I think that would be a pretty fun, interesting thing to do. Maybe not battle for the cowl, but maybe even you could play as Batgirl. You're all these different characters trying to help Batman in a way that could be really fun. And I do think we might hear something about a Suicide Squad game. I'm not positive on that. That's a really cool rumor, actually, that we're getting a Suicide Squad game. That would be really interesting to me because I don't know what that would be like exactly, but I think it could be a pretty fun and interesting different type of game you could play as. I had the idea, it's so stupid, but I had the idea you could play as different characters on each level, but if you lose the game on that, if you lose the level with that character, you can't play them again for that level, and that's kind of how you show that they died. I don't know. Could be pretty interesting, but I don't know. I'm not a big video game guy, so I didn't know what else to talk about in the video games. I don't expect we're going to be getting a Superman game soon, so I didn't put it on there. And I also thought, no, what else could we put in other here that might happen? I could maybe possibly see some links to exclusive toys from DC Direct. I don't know. I think maybe that Justice League animated 7-set series that they did for the DC Universe might be available here. That could be pretty cool. Maybe there's an exclusive Michael Keaton Batman figure or statue that could be for sale. And when you're watching this, I don't know. And I'm expecting we're going to be seeing a lot of cosplay and just fandom experiences in here. Because they put out they put out like a post on their Facebook saying, do you want to be featured in here? Show us your fandom and all that stuff. And I was tempted to do it, but I just couldn't think of anything to show, you know? I just what could I talk about? What could I do? I don't know. So I didn't really put it there. But I'm excited for that, and I think it's really cool. That's pretty much all I have in terms of other. So let's jump into comic books really quick here, and we'll have a good conversation with those. Let's start with this. I don't know if they're even going to show any comic book news here. They haven't really been talking about it in terms of stuff that's going to be shown, if that makes any sense. I'm not positive if we're going to see anything comic book related here. If I had to guess, we will, because I don't think they had any big announcements for Comic-Con at home regarding their comic book stuff. So I could definitely see them dedicating at least an hour or half hour to a lot of their new comic book stuff. I think it's going to be a huge day experience. We're going to get a lot of panels. So I could see maybe a couple, just a little bit dedicated to the comic book side of things. So if there is that comic book side of things, here is some stuff that I believe we might find out or might see happen in terms of the Fandom event. So my first big one is, what is Scott Snyder's next big thing? I believe we will find out what he is doing again at DC, if he has signed another deal to be exclusive with them, and what that could entitle. Because I don't know what his next big thing is after Death Metal. And I think if the sales on that are really good, they're not going to want to lose him right away. And I'm sure Marvel would be eager to pick him up, and I'm sure his Undiscovered Country is selling great. But I would just expect, come the end of Death Metal, he might have another project he's going to be working on that they could announce here that's going to get people excited for the comic books. Maybe it's Nightwing. I think that's been talked about before. I could see it being Wonder Woman. That one a little less because they just announced a new creative team coming on issue 759. It could be Superman. That would be ballsy. Where would Bendis go? I don't know. I just think he could do a really good Superman. Or maybe he's doing the Justice Society book. If he's doing Justice Society, I'd be very curious to see what that could be. Because I don't know where that would go in the current universe. But I just think, you have someone like Scott Snyder. He is a name in this industry. He's a name for DC. You're probably going to want to know what this guy is working on or where he is in terms of the entirety of the comic companies. So I think that would be a big announcement to get for him. And in relations to that, we might figure out who is going to be taking over the Flash title once Williamson ends his run. I think his run is ending very soon. I think it's 62? Is he ending at 762 or 763? I can't remember. Might even be before that. But I think we have a great show of the Flash going on still. If the Flashpoint rumors are true, we could get a new big creative to take over the Flash from Williamson, and that's a great time to announce who that could be and what that might look like, because I really think there's something really interesting with the Flash that could be explored with a new creative team. Williamson's run is unparalleled just in terms of the modern stuff, I feel. He's done so much good for that character. That's amazing what that was. Taking over from that could be really hard, but it'd be a great time to announce it. I don't think it's going to be Scott Snyder, so I'm not going to say it's him. Could be really cool to see. I don't know who could do it. Tom Taylor, maybe. But I could put him on anything, and I'd read the hell out of that book. All I'll say there. You know what else I think might happen? Because it prints money like wildfire that spreads. I don't know what that analogy was going for. I think we're going to get another deceased book. There's like 4 of them out already. But I do think we might get another one just showing us some ramifications of space, maybe. I don't know. Maybe something with the Green Lanterns. That could be interesting. I think that could happen. I really do. Deceased is a moneymaker. They're going to print that till it's dead. I'm amazed they haven't just given him his own imprint to do certain things. It could happen, though. Maybe we're going to see the imprint that's deceased and what that's going to be. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens there. And another thing I'm expecting, the Milestone announcement. I think we're going to get the official confirmation that Milestone is coming back to the DC Comics universe, and that's going to kick off with new stuff from Static and from Icon and from Hardwire. All those guys, they're going to return. I'm 100% expecting this. If they don't announce this here, it's a huge missed opportunity because it's a great idea. You're going to get a lot of people excited for what that is. And I think Milestone's very important in terms of modern comics and even the 90s stuff. It's very important. And it's going to help, I think, get a lot of new readers into comic books and bring back some old fans who kind of dropped off. Milestone's very important. If they don't announce it here, it's a bad idea. Like, you have to announce it here because all of your fans are going to be watching this. Great time to announce it. And another thing here, Batman, The Flash, numerous other titles are going to be going back to number 1. This is so needed right now because I've said it before in my reviews of Batman. I am burned out on that book. I don't really want to jump onto some of these other titles that are so far in. I'm very hesitant to jump onto Superman. I'm very hesitant to go into Wonder Woman. I'm very hesitant to read Grant Morrison's Green Lantern. That's its own thing, though. I mean, I'm not worried about that. But I think a lot of these titles are going to get fresh number 1s. They have to. There's just too much happening in these stories and in this world to make me think that they're going to continue. Because you can't just continue at 100 with Batman, because how are you going to get anybody wanting to jump on that? Then they have to go back to number 1. They have to read all the Tom King stuff. And they're not going to like it, so they're not going to continue there. I'm expecting new number 1s for Batman for sure. I think is going to be getting a new number 1. But we'll have to wait and see about some of the other titles. I don't know about Superman. I don't know about Green Lantern, like I said. Aquaman, I could definitely see getting a new number 1. Harley Quinn, I could see getting a new number 1. Maybe Titans. Titans needs a reboot. I don't know what's going on in Titans, but that might need a reboot too. And my final thing in terms of the comic book stuff that I think we could see happening here is the push for digital. Now, I'm not sure what the numbers are in terms of the digital books, but I think they've done really good for pushing the initiative to go digital. They have a lot of great digital exclusive titles, and I think that's very exciting, and I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to be going forward. Now, what does this mean in terms of monthly titles? Are they going to cut back on monthlies and then just kind of do, not trade waiting, but maybe digitals only, then release the trade? Digital only, release the trade? I hope not. I kind of like the monthly title, but if the book isn't selling, digital exclusives a good way to go. I know Marvel did that, but DC just made digital exclusives, which I like a lot more than what Marvel did, instead of canceling a line to make it digital only. This makes me happy. Like, the push for digital, I think it's important. I read a lot of my books digitally because I don't live near a comic book store, and with the COVID stuff, I know it sucks to say this, but I like the idea that I don't really have to go out of my home to get my books. I don't want the comic book store to fail, but just the way this is looking and the way it's going, I think the switch to digital is very important. I'm sure the numbers are there, so I'm kind of excited to see how that works. I think we're going to get that announcement. Whether it's just, hey, we're going to be switching to a digital format, or we will not be releasing as many books monthly now, but you can find all of these books coming every week and every day, a new exclusive on our app on Comixology for you to read. I think that's something we could see there too. That's all I got for comic books coming to the DC Fandome. I'd love to hear what you guys think about my comic book predictions. All right, let's move on to television. Before that, I'm going to take a sip of my beautiful little cranberry juice. Fantastic. Television. What are we going to see from DC Fandome for their television? My lips are really wet right now, so that's why I'm moving them a lot. We'll start with some stuff that I'm kind of thinking we're going to get some info about, and that is Stargirl Season 2. Look, we just got the confirmation. We just got the confirmation of a Season 2 of Stargirl. It seems like a bad opportunity not to say you're doing something. Is the show going to be done by the time of Fandom? I'm trying to think. There's 5 episodes left. It might be right around the finale, actually, of Stargirl that we're going to get the Fandom. So possible news on what we could see in Season 2? That could be really cool. I'm expecting Jakeem. I'm expecting Jade. That's all I'm going to say there. And information on Young Justice Season 4. What is Season 4 about? What's the underlying title? We had Outsiders. We had Invasion. What is this title going to be? How many episodes is it going to be? When is it going to take place? Is it going to do another time jump? And what is the possible release date? That's curious too. I'm almost certain it's going to have a bigger budget, so I'm not really worried about talking about that side of it, but I'm just wondering what we're going to see. I think you could easily take place after the events of Season 3, like right away. But this show's kind of infamous for doing the time jump, which I've come on record and said, I think Season 2 would have been better if it didn't do the time jump from Season 1. I've said that, and I'm going to stick by that. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I could definitely see some information on Season 4. I think we're going to get at least we are going to get a title like Young Justice, Invasion of the Body, Outsiders or something. You know, something like that. We're just going to get one of those kind of titles. So that's interesting. I also think we are going to be getting our first look at Barbara Gordon as she's going to be on Titans. There's been rumors and speculated. I think it's been confirmed that she's going to be appearing in the 3rd season of Titans. Now, I don't think they've started filming. I think they pushed that back because of the COVID stuff. So I'm not expecting to see a trailer or anybody in the costumes. I'm just thinking we could get a casting announcement for Barbara Gordon and maybe get like our first look at what we're going to see her. Is she going to be Oracle? Is she going to be in the wheelchair? Is she going to be Batgirl? I think we're going to be seeing that. I'm very excited to see what comes of that, actually. I think it could be really interesting. And I do expect we're going to get a little bit more information on Titans, like when is it going to be released? When are they going to start filming? I'm expecting we're going to see, Brendan Thwaites in a Nightwing at some capacity. I don't know what that's going to look like. Could be a couple of pictures of him in the Nightwing suit. It could be him talking about becoming Nightwing. We're going to be getting some Nightwing tease for this show. I'm almost certain of it. If we're not, like I said, it's a missed opportunity. And like I said too, you have to go all out at this show to justify its existence. So sure, show us the Batgirl costume, show us Nightwing, show us all that stuff. Tell us who's going to be the main bad guy at season 3. I'm not watching Titans, so I don't really know what's going on in that show. What's important to talk about. And I got this too. Let's just see Brendan Fraser. Let's just see him. I don't even care what he's doing. Just have him on. Even if it's talking about Doom Patrol. I think that'd be so cool to see Brendan Fraser here. I love him. He's a great actor. Shitty consequences and stuff that's happened to him, like to get him where he is now. It kind of sucks. He could have been bigger, but I love him. Love him to death. So let's see him on there. We got some mixed stuff here. So let's talk about it. When I say mixed, I mean it's all together in my notes because they're all kind of related. I think we are gonna figure out and learn why Swamp Thing went to the CW instead of HBO Max. I think it's releasing on HBO Max too, but I could see that being the first steps going into a Justice League Dark show. It's a great jumping on point because it's already a show that exists. You don't have to put any more money into it. Whether whatever happened with the tax stuff there, that's behind them or ahead of them, I don't know. But if you want to launch into the Justice League Dark, and we'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to the movies, this is a great way to do it. You got a cast that people likes. You have an established universe that's kind of creepy and kind of weird. James Wan was a producer on it. You know it's got some elements in there that are really cool and interesting. And it's already made. You just want to launch this into the bigger universe? Use Ian Ziering, who plays Blue Devil in that show. He appeared in one episode, I believe. Give him the Oblivion Bar. Just give him the Oblivion Bar. Don't even question it. Just have him go to the Oblivion Bar now. There, you've just established you're part of a cinematic universe of Justice League Dark characters. That's all you have to do. I know I've said this before. These are predictions. If these don't come true, I'm okay with that too. But my biggest prediction, I think, if there's one thing in terms of the television stuff that I am predicting, I may be way off base here, but I am predicting Ian Ziering is going to be announcing a show with either him, the cast of Swamp Thing, or just something in terms of Justice League Dark. I think if there's a Justice League Dark show that is coming to HBO Max at any point in time, Ian Ziering's Blue Devil is going to be on that show. I'm predicting that. I think he won't, maybe not spearheading it, but he's going to be on that show. That's a great casting opportunity for him, and I'm very, very excited to see what comes of that. I think it works perfectly. Now let's just get Matt Ryan from the CW stuff to come over and be Constantine. Then we have the perfect casting for him. Let's just bring him over here. Give him a little more adult situation stuff to do. That could be really fun, and I'm very curious to see how that works. So, Swamp Thing, yes. Blue Devil, yes. Constantine, maybe. We are starting a Justice League Dark thing, and I am predicting that Ian Ziering is going to be announcing it. So what else could we talk about in terms of television? I think we are going to be seeing something in terms of the Green Lantern. Now, it's very early on in production for that show. I'm just going to say we're going to maybe get some concept art. We're going to be talking to Jeff Johns, because I think he's working on it. I think we're going to figure out who's the lead of this show. And it might be wacky and out there, but I think it's going to be David Ramsey from Arrow. I think we're going to see John Diggle make the crossover, become Jon Stewart, and he's going to lead this show. Whether it's the same version from Arrow, I don't know, but I'm just going to guess he's going to be leading this show. That's my prediction. We'll see that announcement. And we might just figure out when are we going to start filming, when is the release date, what's the tone of the show, how's it going to feel, is it going to be in space, is there going to be practical sets, that kind of stuff. That's what I think we're going to figure out from Green Lantern, but I'm predicting that David Ramsey is going to be leading that show. He's a great actor. He's held Arrow together for 8 seasons. 8 seasons. So give him a lead of this. I think that'd be really cool. And my other prediction for the television side of things is pretty much animated. I think there's going to be another animated show that we don't know about yet. It may be in the vein of Harley Quinn or maybe in the vein of Young Justice. I just don't know. I don't have any predictions that we're going to be getting a 3rd season of Harley Quinn. I'm not there yet. I'm not sold we are going to be getting a 3rd season yet. So I'm like, maybe they will announce a new animated project, kind of like the one we saw with Harley Quinn. You know, like I want to do an episode of the GeekWave talking about my pitches for a show like Harley Quinn. I might have a guest lined up. I'm not sure yet. We're working on it still. And I think that could be really cool. But what could that be? I'd love to see a Daily Planet show. That could be really fun, really interesting. Not something a lot of people are expecting. So that could be a really just fun thing nobody saw coming. I'm just guessing there's going to be an announcement for something we don't know about in terms of television. And announcing another animated show, maybe from the creators of Harley Quinn, is the easiest and simplest way to do it without making it different and expensive. You know, just like, oh, we're working on this show. It's a spin-off of Harley Quinn focusing on the events of Bane or something. You know, that could be really fun. So that's it. That's what I got for television. It's not a lot. It's just a couple of info drops, announcements for stuff, Ian Ziering doing something, and Brendan Fraser doing something. That's what I got. So let's jump right into the television side of things, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's jump into movies. And movies is the biggest category I have here. There's a lot we can talk about. We're going to whip it out fairly quickly to see what's going on in terms of the movies. We'll start with this. My throat's killing me, by the way. I'm not sick, but my throat's just been dying, so if I start coughing a lot, I'm sorry. I think we're going to be getting our first look at the Batman. I don't know what that means. I think, is it too early for a trailer? They could cut something together. I think we'll get a full-on look at the suit, at least, and Pattinson in the suit. I think that's definitely what we're going to get. Maybe something with Paul Dano as the Riddler, maybe something with Kravitz as Catwoman. I'm just expecting we're going to get a first look. I don't know if Pattinson's going to come out to the show and say something. I would love it, though. I'd love to see if they got... I would love to see if they got Pattinson to come on to like a Zoom call and talk about the Batman. That would make me so happy. Sadly, I don't think it's going to happen. But I think we're going to get our first look. I don't know if a trailer is ready, but I'm expecting Matt Reeves maybe coming on and just be like, okay, here's what we're doing. Here's what we're working on. This is kind of the tone of the movie, the tone of what's happening. And here's our first look at Batman and Catwoman and the Riddler and the Penguin. That could be really cool, too. And on the same note, too, I think we're going to get the same thing happening for the Suicide Squad. I don't know how that's going to look. It's still a little early. I think they're done production, though. So if I had to guess this more than the Batman, we are going to get a trailer. Because you know how well James Gunn is at making trailers with barely any footage. Look at what he did for Guardians 1 at Comic-Con in 2013. The guy knows what he's doing. So I could definitely see him having a trailer made for this convention. He seems like a guy who would be a part of it, get a lot of people excited to see what he is working on. Talk to the cast and the crew of that show, of that movie, and just see what is coming. I'm predicting a trailer for this one. I'm predicting a trailer for the Suicide Squad and a release date for sometime next year. I'm definitely predicting that. I can't wait to see what that looks like or what comes of that, though. Maybe even a poster. I think we could get a poster for this movie, too. Just like a nice, simple poster. Not one that has the logo and all like the cast names on it, but just like a poster with all of our characters on it in a very cool style in terms of Guardians even, and the way that looks, that'd be really fun to see. And in terms of Black Adam, which I think they've confirmed is going to be having its own panel, Dwayne Johnson's going to be there. Like, that's so obvious to me. That's like the biggest name you could get for something like this to announce it. Now, I don't know what we're going to see. We could see some concept art of Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam. I think we'll get that. Maybe we'll get a few plot details. If there's a director and writer attached, we might get that here too. I'm expecting maybe some casting announcements too alongside Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. I know there's rumors of Hawkman and Hawkgirl, so maybe we'll be getting announcements for who's playing those people. Maybe we'll find out that the JSA is going to be in this. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect from this one, but I'm predicting we are going to be getting like some plot details. That's what I think we're going to be like, oh, it takes place during this time. Like maybe it's earlier on in the career of Black Adam when he first comes to Kahndaq. I think that could be where we are with that. I don't know. That's just what I'm predicting. And on that note too, Shazam 2, I think we're going to get a couple of details like, oh, here's the plot. Here's what Dr. Mind's doing. Who's returning? All our characters are back. Are we going to see Savannah? I don't know. And how is that going to tie into Black Adam? Because they could announce too, I'm going to predict this too, They might announce a Shazam versus Black Adam movie. They might. I'm predicting a 50-50 on that one. It's either they're going to do it or they're not. And I think that could be a really fun thing to see and very compelling and very just different because you build up the villain, you're building up the hero, and having them fight later on, that could be really cool to see. I'm very curious to see how that's going to turn out. And in terms of Wonder Woman 84, which is the thumbnail for this video, and I think one of the selling points at that show, there's going to be a new trailer, right? There's going to be a new trailer. If we don't see Cheetah in some form, I'll be very surprised. I feel like we have to see Cheetah at this point. It's been way too long with nothing being shown from that character or from this movie. I had a theory. I kind of went back on it. I was like, maybe they are going to show the entire movie at this panel or during this time. They're like, hey, if you guys want to see Wonder Woman 84, you can pay a certain amount of money with this link and we'll give you the whole movie. But I'm like, that would make me happy a lot. I think that'd be a really cool idea. But then I'm like, there's no way in hell they do that. Way too insane. So I'm like, well, I'm expecting then we'll hear from Patty Jenkins. We're going to hear from Gal Gadot and Chris Pine and Kristen Wiig and Pedro Pascal. Maybe we're going to get like a 10-minute clip just for the fans. And you can just watch a snippet of a scene. Maybe that scene in the mall with Chris Pine. Did I say Chris Pratt earlier? Now I can't remember. With Chris Pine, Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman together. I don't know what we could see from there, but I think we're definitely going to get at least a clip from Wonder Woman 84. Maybe we're going to figure out what is the role that Pedro Pascal's playing. I know he's Maxwell Lord, but like, what is he really doing? What is his connection to Wonder Woman? What is his connection to this world? I'm kind of curious to see what that could be. I think we'll see a lot more from him in that too, because look, he's the Mandalorian, he's big now. We're going to up him a little bit more. I'm very excited for that. And I'm also really excited to see what they're going to announce for Aquaman 2. Like a release date maybe, when is filming going to begin? Are we going to get any plot details? I'm expecting we're going to see Black Manta and Dr. Shin. I know it's Ray Park as Dr. Shin and Yatim Mahal Abdul. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen, spoiler alert. I'm expecting we are going to be seeing him as Black Manta in this panel in some capacity. Getting Jason Momoa it's going to happen. Like, he's going to be talking about this. This launched him into the next big thing. Made $1 billion. He's going to get a lot more money for this sequel. And I don't know. This is my prediction. It's my prediction. We're going to see Emilia Clarke announced as Mera. That I know a lot of people are still like, Amber Heard just keeping the role. What's going to happen if Amber Heard? I think we're going to get an official announcement here that there's a new person taking over Mera, and I think it's going to be Emilia Clarke. I really do. It'd be perfect. It's a great callback just to their acting jobs, and I think that's something a lot of people like to see. So I'm expecting we'll see Emilia Clarke announced as Mera. That's my prediction. Like I said, it could be completely off base, and we'll see what happens there. But Aquaman 2, I'm very excited to see what's going to be announced for this movie because they pretty much told every Aquaman story that's worth a damn in this one. So I don't know. Like, I just don't know. And of course, we are going to get some announcements on the Snyder Cut. If not announcements, we're going to get a trailer. We're going to get, so here's new character. Here's Green Lantern. Here's Jimmy Olsen. Here's Martian Manhunter. Here's every character that's worth a damn. We're going to see all that. If we don't, it's a missed opportunity because there's no way in hell we're not going to be seeing all that stuff. And there's going to be so much info dropped. Like, here's how it's going to be shot. It's going to be the 1 hour movie. It's going to be like 40 minutes and 6 episodes or something. Or here's what people are up to. Here's what everyone's working on and how much visual effects we need to come back. That's what I'm expecting to see. I do believe, though, we are going to be getting a trailer, like a full-on trailer with new footage that nobody's seen. I'm expecting that. I am. Like, it's going to happen no matter what. I just know, because you made it important, and I think Snyder's going to be one of the lead guys in this Fandom event, so I'm kind of curious to see how that turns out. And calling back to our news from earlier in the episode, a Zatanna movie. I think it's going to be confirmed. It's going to connect into the Ian Ziering Justice League Dark project that I mentioned in television, because we have a very like blurred line now between films and television because like they're getting equal quality. This is a great way to connect it. Zatanna could hold her own in a movie. Could Blue Devil? Could Swamp Thing? I don't know. So put them on television. They could get a lot more people watching them there. I'm very curious to see what that's going to be. I talked about, like I said earlier, I've casted Zatanna for the movie. I think this could be really cool. I love the idea of a Justice League Dark series because that's some of my favorite stuff in DC comic books. I love Zatanna. I love Constantine. I love Swamp Thing. I love Blue Devil. I love Etrigan. I love Deadman. I love all those characters so much. So seeing them on the screen in any capacity excites me to no end. So I just think that could be a really fun thing to see. And we could do a lot of cool stuff with that. So that's what I'm expecting. I do think we'll get that confirmation. And with that confirmation, I do not think those are going to be the two secret movies that people were talking about. There was there's kind of like a leak showing there's going to be two secret movies they're talking about. There's two movies that aren't announced that could be those movies. One of them's Zatanna. Another one is the one we'll talk about at the end here. But aside from those, here's what I think the two secret movies could be. Superman sequel with Henry Cavill. I mean, he's a bigger name now than he was then. He could sell seats to see this movie. And it's Superman. How does Superman not have a movie in your current slate? You have the animated Man of Tomorrow movie. Looks really good. But you need a live-action Superman movie. And Cavill said he wants to come back. I think he's going to come back. I really do. You got that role for him. No one else could pull it off the way he has in terms of modern stuff. And I think it's very important that he stays in that role, at least for a while now. So I really do think that's where we're going to go with that. That could be our one secret movie. And this is my other prediction. This ties into the fact that I don't think Ben Affleck's coming back. That's part of my prediction. Ben Affleck is done with Batman. If he comes back, I'll eat my sock on this podcast. I don't think he's coming back. Why would he? It ruined him. Why would he want to come back? I think we are going to get a Deathstroke movie with Joe Manganiello. Guy looks the part so well. He'd be so eager to play it. I know that. So let's just give it to him. I think that could be a really cool movie to see him in. A really cool role for him to have. I'm expecting that to happen. I really am. Like, that would work so well for him. It looks so good. We're getting an animated Deathstroke movie, so we might as well make a live action one too. That could be really cool. Tie it into Teen Titans somehow. Tie it into one of the Robins. Really cool stuff happening there. I'm expecting that 100%. It's a prediction. Like I said, this one could be completely off base. Like, this one is the least likely to happen out of everything I've said so far, but I think it's a missed opportunity if it doesn't happen. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that too. So let's talk about this. This is my last kind of big movie thing that I wanted to talk about. I think my prediction is that the last thing they are going to talk about at this Fandom event, the very last thing, we're going to get Michael Keaton to come out on stage, and we're going to announce a multiverse movie. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking it's going to be Flashpoint, but I think Flashpoint's out of the table. I could definitely see this being a Flash-led movie. That being said, I don't know if Ezra Miller is going to be staying as Barry Allen. And because it's the Flashpoint, and that's why I don't think it's going to be Flashpoint, actually. I just think it could kind of lean into both. Like, we could see Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Thomas Wayne Batman, and we could see that Aquaman or that Wonder Woman from that time period of Flashpoint. Flashpoint could be one of the things we see in the multiverse, but I don't know what to expect there. If I had to say something, it's a multiverse movie. There could be the Flashpoint universe, and if Ezra Miller is not going to lead it, because I really, really don't want him to, Ray Fisher. You put him in as Cyborg, and you have the multiverse movie where he's the one who figures out there's a multiverse, and he's kind of traveling through them, seeing these different things. Maybe he sees all his friends in the Flashpoint universe. He goes to the 89 Keaton universe, and he meets that Batman, and that Batman becomes like the mentor for him or some sort of the way. I think that could really happen. I could also see Keaton's role in that movie being in the Batman Beyond universe, and this is a continuation of the one he was in 89, and now he is in the Batman Beyond times. Terry McGinnis becomes a character, and we do a crossover thing through the multiverse with Cyborg and Terry McGinnis, maybe. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be Flashpoint, because I don't know if they're going to keep Ezra Miller. I really don't know if that's who they're going to keep. It seems really unlikely that they would. Those are all my predictions in terms of television, movies, comic books, and other. I'm very excited to see what you guys think about what I said, if there's anything you agree with, that you disagree with. And I think when the show is done, when DC Fandome is done, we are going to come back and we're going to rank what happened in that show to what I said and see what happens there. I think that could be a really fun thing to do. Let's hope I get a lot wrong, just for the sake of argument, because if I got everything right, that's weird. Because there's no way there's going to be a Deathstroke movie, or that Ray Fisher is going to lead a multiverse movie, or that Ian Ziering is going to lead a Justice League Dark property and announce it. I don't know. I would just love to see that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think that's really cool. I'm very excited to see what comes from the DC Fandome event. But before I leave you guys today, let's talk about some recommendations I have for you. Yes, recommendations are back this week. First recommendation, Tron the movie. Go watch that first Tron movie on Disney+. It's really good. Great use of CGI. One of the earliest uses of CGI. I think you guys would really enjoy it. And then check out The Flash by Joshua Williamson. It's a really great run. I'm not caught up on it, but it introduces a lot of great stuff into the Flash mythos, and it feels very energetic and lighthearted, and you guys should check it out. And then go watch the Harley Quinn cartoon. I did a review on Season 2. I think it's well worth watching. It kind of lacks at some points and goes into places weird, but it's definitely worth checking out. And watch Man of Steel, the movie, because it's good. It's not great, but it's good. So that's what you think. That is the end of this episode of the GeekWave. Thank you guys so much for watching. You be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, or if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, give me a recommendation or a rating is what I meant to say. Give me a rating or a review. I'd love to hear what you guys think there. Thank you so much for watching, and you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. Let's enjoy the DC Fandome event together. This is going to be something I think everyone's going to be looking forward to, so thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and let's celebrate DC in the way only DC fans can, with a picture, with a comic book, of Ant-Man here, with a Thor action figure behind us, and Ninja Turtle action figures to our left. So, thank you guys. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck. Enjoy DC like I do. Tsunami Studios.